YouTube, how the heck you doing? This is Corey here with Watcher of Realms. Now, you've probably seen these teams everywhere. They're literally everywhere in Guild v Guild, right? The Ingrid team that just has like infinite range, and then there's a Regulus here, sometimes even a Brokir right here. You'll see like a Theo in right here occasionally. Maybe an Ardea is placed right here. So there's a lot of variations for this team, but one thing is the same. Ingrid exists, right? Sometimes you'll even see a Yimmer here. There is a way to go ahead and beat these teams relatively consistently. The main thing is you're going to need a lot of BP, right? You're going to need a very strong maul to go ahead and take this out. So first, I'm not going to delay you too much. Let me show you how to go ahead and beat these teams with some relative consistency. I will say this Ingrid that I'm showing here is actually A3. So she's very strong, and I'm going to explain all the ways that you can kind of trick the game to make it a little bit easier for you and the rationale behind why I'm doing what I'm doing, so that maybe you're able to go ahead and copy this and have some good success whenever you're attacking as well, right? So let's go ahead and start this up. I'm going to drop this to 2x speed. First things first, there is two ways to go ahead and do this. You can either drop your Fool first, or you can drop Maul. Now, realistically speaking, what happens is you drop Maul, he gets around here, starts taking some damage from Ingrid once he crosses his threshold, and the Fool will get hit as well from Ingrid's AoE hit. Now, you can also drop the Fool first and then do this process and kind of save your Maul maybe 2 hits of damage from Ingrid, but realistically, like, let's be honest, 2 hits is not that much of a big deal. So, we go ahead, we drop Maul first, and then we drop the Fool. Ingrid is going to start hitting right about now alongside Ajax. So we're taking a little bit of damage, but this is all fine. We're not really too concerned about this. The Fool is about to come here and then give us some sustain for our Maul. And there we go. So we're kind of tanky now. The next step is we're going to drop Axes and the Healer. The reason for dropping the Axes and the Healer is because our main job is to go ahead and kind of take out Regulus, and ideally the Healer and the Axes are going to make a really good pair, a really good combo to deal with the threat that's being shown here. Also, Ingrid is kind of scaling up here. The reason why they have this team is because Ajax is basically a watcher, Constance is a watcher, Regulus is a watcher. So Ingrid's passive from being a Lord is going to stack up very frequently. You see it right here. There we go. So she is boosted. Now she's A3, so she's hitting AoE every 2 hits. And here we go. We drop the next Maw and Healer now. So we've kind of done our job. We've gone ahead and procced Regulus's passive, and Constance is healing here. So the next job is up to the Axes and the Healer. We need the Axes and the Healer to go ahead and take out Regulus, even if it means taking him out through the passive. Now the reason why we kind of waited a second too is now Ingrid is no longer supercharged, right? She doesn't have all those orbs around her, so she's not going to do her auto hit, like her AoE, every second hit. See, she's doing her normal hits here. Now she does her AoE, she gets 1 stack. Now she's buffed. She's still not doing her AoE. And our Axes are doing a really good job of kind of tanking up because of our healer and putting pressure on Regulus, and we are successful. Now see, watch this. Ingrid is about 3 orbs now. There we go. She's going to take out this healer. And those orbs are going to gradually go away right about now. They're going to start dissipating. And here's the benefit. That means whenever she hits us, she's not going to instantly go ahead and do her AoE hit. So we're going to drop the double dogs now. And the Fool's job is to go ahead and give us a shield here to kind of tank up the remaining damage. There we go. So they tank it, and they're able to go and run straight through here. And the reason why it works is because everyone is going to go ahead and use Constance in the Astral Obelisk gear, right? That's the best artifact for her if you don't have her exclusive, because that's giving her a damage boost. So how this team is functioning is really based off of Constance giving that inspiration buff and making Ingrid do way more damage than how she normally would. And then in addition to that, Constance is providing some additional sustainability for Regulus to keep him up, because the win condition for these teams is really survive Maw, right? If you have the ability to tank Maw because of Regulus, and the ability to take out the rest of the units because of Ingrid, you win. That's the win condition. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of just replay this one more time in case anything kind of fell by the wayside here. Let's see. I'm sorry, I had a lot of defenses. Everyone was attacking me today. All right, here we go. So let's just run this down a little bit slower. Okay, so once again, right, we're going to drop them all. There's a couple of interactions that I really want to highlight. Ingrid, she's being buffed, right, because of all these watchers. The next thing is Constance. She's going to go ahead and ult here, and Ingrid is getting that damage boost, and so does Ajax, right? Regulus is getting a little bit tankier. When I say tankier, it's because of all that additional sustain from Constance healing. And then next up, we drop the axes and the healer right here. So we're looking good. Ingrid is at 2 orbs, so she's going to do AoE hits right about now. This next hit. There we go. Now she's at 3. Now she's at 4. And now we're in like the little bit of the danger zone, right? Because she's going to get this final orb right about now. And now every other hit is going to be AoE. 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 And see, now that's when she gets dangerous. She's taking out these units with relative ease. Our axe is already gone. So we drop the second set here. And here we go. She has those 5, and they're about to go away. There we go. She's much weaker now. And that's perfect timing because Regulus is now without his passive. And that's how we go ahead and win this. So we go ahead. Axes. Healer. GG. Because Ingrid doesn't have those orbs, so we are able to win. Now, there's a difference, right? If you're going against a team that is running Ymrit, for example, there's a couple of benefits. Ymrit does go ahead and freeze, so that's a negative. And Ymrit's ult does a decent chunk of damage. However, it is not that too much dissimilar from a person running a Constance buffing up an Ajax and a Ingrid, for example. You're going to do the same process. The only difference is you're going to really rely on your damage dealers being able to take out the tank. If you don't have really good BP to go ahead and take out the tank, unfortunately, you lose. Now, there are no other variations for beating this team. Let me kind of pause this. Besides just going ahead and running them all. Reason being is you can't go ahead and run a, a swarm team, right? Which is kind of dropping the bugs, like the rare bugs and then the epic bugs, and then dropping the speeder. Reason being is because typically in Ajax's absence, you will see people go ahead and use a Theowen, for example, and then any type of other long range unit right here to deal with that threat. So Theowen's going to slow down the bugs, and then the long range threat alongside Ingrid is going to take out the bugs. So that's going to be an auto loss for you. Swarming is also an auto loss because Ingrid is able to hit all the way through this entire lane. And so let's just be honest. As you're stacking up your swarm, it's going to get taken down by Ingrid. So it doesn't even matter. The only way to go ahead and reliably beat this is Maw. This is actually very similar in how it functions to how Northerner teams used to function way back in the day. I'm talking like season 1, 2, 3. And technically season 4 as well, but not as frequently. The reason for that is because this is not a stall comp in a similar way to Northerner comps were. This is a BP DPS check, similar to how the Northerner teams were, right? Do you have enough damage to take out the tank? If you do, you win. If you don't, you lose. And that sounds a little bit ridiculous, but that's how you beat this team. So anyways, hopefully you're able to watch this. Hopefully you're able to go ahead and replicate this. Now, mind you, this was an A3 Ingrid, which is busted in its own right, obviously. So A1, A2, A0, this is good to go. It's going to work basically every single time. It doesn't matter if they're using a Ymrit because you still do the same process, right? Your goal is to tank Ymrit, which is not that bad, genuinely speaking. It's not that hard to tank Ymrit when Ymrit's not ulting. Kind of similar to Ajax, right? When Ajax is ulted, he does a lot of damage. He also does the AoE hits, and the burn. So it's not too dissimilar. This is how you're going to beat those teams. Anyways, see ya.